So more police doesn't mean higher crime rates? Coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense How You Reason. And as always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So you're black people, black victims, and these pro-blacks, they always try to come up with every possible way under the sun they can to deflect away from personal responsibility being placed on blacks. Anytime there's any responsibility being placed on blacks, they are looking for some type of way to deflect it and blame white supremacy. And this is absolutely, especially the case when it comes down to crime. You know, they do everything under the sun that they can to try to say that black people, or try to deflect away from the high crime rates committed by blacks. Now, one of the excuses that they use is this idea that because there are more police in the black community, that means that you have higher crime rates. Now, the logic behind this is that because there are more police in the black community, patrolling the black community, they're more like, since there are more police in the black community, they are more likely to find a crime. And thus, it's going to make the crime rates among amongst black people higher. You know, they will tell you with a straight face that white people commit just as much crimes as black people, but because there are more police in the black community, the numbers don't reflect that. I mean, all these extra cops in the black community are finding all these crimes. Now, the problem with this narrative, though, is that police officers are a reactive force. Okay, police officers are not out here looking for possible crimes. That is, they respond when a crime is reported. Okay, even police officers who are in patrol, when they're in patrol, are they looking for things? Yeah, but for the most part, they respond to crimes that are being committed. When someone called for a crime, the police are going to respond to it. They're not out here investigating possible crime, looking under every rock or behind every bush for a crime. That's not what police officers do. Plus, there are laws against that. Okay, that's not in the police jurisdiction to do. So they respond to crime. They don't investigate crime. And even in detectives, the ones who do investigate the crime, when they do investigate crime, it's based off of a crime that was already committed, or they investigate based on a particular case. If the state need more information on a case, well, the detectives will investigate to try to get more information for various things, such as if there is no suspect, well, they investigate to try to get information to find who committed a crime, and they can arrest the suspect. But it's still based off of a crime that was committed and police departments responding to crime. Now, there's really only two ways that police officers will be active. The first will be heavy policing tactics, such as Stop and Frisk, what we saw in New York. Stop and Frisk was a response to high crime rates, though. Okay, heavy policing is response to high crime rates. It's basically police officers taking more active measures to try to deter crime. So it's still response. It's still response to high crime rates already. Not them there to make the crime rates appear higher. And also possible suspicious behavior, or if basically the police department, or there's basically suspicious behavior, or they believe that a group of people are acting suspiciously, let's say such as a drug ring, they will surveil these people and investigate the matter to try to see if there's something there. However, though, in order to do this, they must have probable cause to do so. They must have reasonable suspicion and reasonable evidence to believe that something is going wrong, and they need a court order in order to start surveilling people. And like I said, they do a raid. You absolutely need a court order to do a raid. If you raid someone's home or property, the police have to have the court order with them, and it must have who they are there for and a reason that they're there. So again, they must have a court order. They're not just out here willy-nilly doing raids and surveilling people for no reason, unconstitutionally. So no, more police officers don't mean that the crime rates go up. The crime rates are already up. The police just respond to the crime rates. The police respond when a crime is reported. And if there's more crime in your community, and there's more people in your community reporting crime, well, you're going to have higher crime rates. Again, this idea that more cops means higher crime rates is just another convenient escape clause that these blacks use to deflect away from personal responsibility. Again, they're so brainwashed by race, they have to make everything about race, and they will. As I say, it's the race Murphy's law. Anything that can be race will be race. Well, that's how they operate. Anyway, if you ever hear any of these black people crying about, well, the reason why the crime rates are high amongst blacks because there are more police in blacks, over policing and underreporting, well, now you know, and knowing it's half the battle. And it's always, until next time.